A research team tracked 1,200 people who made New Year's resolutions. By February, 80% had abandoned their goals. The researchers interviewed both groups, expecting to find that the successful group was more motivated. They were wrong. Both groups reported similar levels of initial motivation. The difference was not motivation at all. The successful group had something else entirely, something that made motivation irrelevant. This video will show you exactly what that something is, and it will free you from the motivation trap forever. Because here's the truth. Motivation is a beautiful lie. It feels good, it promises everything, and it delivers nothing lasting. You have been sold a model. Feel motivated, take action, get results. This model is backwards, and science proves it. Motivation is an emotion. Emotions are, by definition, temporary and unreliable. Motivation is driven by dopamine, the anticipation chemical. The spike is temporary. It fades within hours or days. This is not a flaw in you. This is how dopamine works in every human brain. Monday, watch an inspiring video. Feel motivated. Start the diet. Wednesday, motivation has faded. Willpower is depleted. Eat the pizza. Friday, feel guilty. Watch another video. Feel motivated again. Repeat this cycle indefinitely while achieving nothing. The consistent do not feel more motivated. They have removed motivation from the equation entirely. Their model: design systems 2. Execute systems 2. Results follow. Motivation becomes irrelevant because the system operates regardless of feeling. Part 1. The consistency equation. Scientists studied elite performers across domains: athletes, musicians, writers, entrepreneurs. They tested for motivation, talent, intelligence, grit, passion. The single strongest predictor was none of these. It was something called behavioral automaticity, the degree to which key behaviors had become automatic. The elite were not trying harder, they were thinking less. Their consistency had become unconscious. The consistency equation. Consistency equals Q strength times routine simplicity times reward clarity divided by friction. Variable 1. Q strength. A cue is a trigger that initiates behavior. Strong cues are specific, consistent, and unavoidable. I'll exercise when I have time, weak, versus when my 6 a.m. alarm sounds, I put on gym clothes, strong. Variable 2. Routine simplicity. The simpler the routine, the more likely it is to be executed. Complexity creates decision points. Decision points create opportunities for failure. A morning routine with 12 steps fails. A routine with 3 steps persists. Variable 3. Reward clarity. The brain needs feedback to reinforce behavior. Clear, immediate rewards strengthen the behavior loop. Your brain does not care about your 5-year plan. It cares about what feels good right now. Variable 4. Friction, the divisor. Friction is anything that makes the behavior harder. Research shows adding just 10 seconds of friction to a behavior reduces occurrence by 20% plus. Google wanted employees to eat less candy. They moved it 6 feet farther away and put it in opaque containers. That was all. Candy consumption dropped by 30%. The candy was still there, the desire was still there, but 6 feet of distance created enough friction to change behavior. Each variable is measurable. Each variable is adjustable. When you optimize this equation, you stop relying on a feeling that may or may not show up. You start relying on neuroscience that works every time. Part 2. The minimum viable action. A Stanford behavior scientist wanted to floss more. He tried motivation. He tried reminders, he tried guilt. Nothing worked. Then, he tried something strange. He committed to flossing exactly one tooth per day. One tooth. That was the entire commitment. Within 2 weeks, he was flossing all his teeth every day. Not because he forced himself, but because once he started, continuing was easy. The hardest part of any behavior is starting. Resistance is highest at the beginning and decreases once action begins. Physics concept. Activation energy. The energy required to start a reaction. Behaviors have activation energy too. Smaller behaviors have lower activation energy. Lower activation energy equals higher probability of initiation. Examples of minimum viable actions. Want to meditate? Sit quietly for 1 minute. Want to write? Write 1 sentence. Want to exercise? Do 1 push-up. Want to read? Read 1 page. The domino effect. Small actions trigger larger sequences. 1 push-up often becomes 10. 1 sentence often becomes a paragraph. Starting is the domino that knocks down the rest. Identity voting. Each completed action is a vote for your identity. 1 push-up equals, I am someone who exercises. 1 sentence equals, I am someone who writes. Tiny actions accumulate into identity transformation. The 2-minute rule. Research-backed. Any habit should be completable in 2 minutes or less. Read for 30 minutes becomes read for 2 minutes. Run 3 miles becomes put on running shoes. 2 minutes eliminates the starting excuse entirely. The minimum viable action is not a compromise. It is a strategy. It defeats resistance by being too small to resist. Part 3. The streak system. Jerry Seinfeld became one of the most successful comedians in history. His secret? A simple system. Every day he wrote jokes. He put a red X on his calendar. After a few days, a chain formed. His only job: don't break the chain. Why streaks work. Humans feel losses roughly 2 times more intensely than equivalent gains. A streak is accumulated value. Breaking it feels like loss. The longer the streak, the more painful the potential loss. This pain becomes protective. It prevents skipping more than any positive motivation could. Visual progress. Streaks make progress tangible and visible. You can see your consistency. This matters more than it logically should. Identity reinforcement. I am on a 30-day streak of writing equals I am a writer. The streak becomes evidence of who you are. The sacred streak rules. Rule 1. Never miss twice. Missing once is a stumble. Missing twice is a new pattern. If you miss, the only acceptable response is immediate resumption. Rule 2. Minimum on bad days. Bad days happen. The streak must survive them. 1 push-up protects a 100-day exercise streak. Rule 3. No negotiations. Do not negotiate with yourself about whether today counts. The moment you negotiate, the streak is compromised. Rule 4. Count days, not results. The streak counts execution, not quality. Both brilliant days and garbage days get the X if you showed up. Consistency of action precedes quality of output. Researchers rearranged a hospital cafeteria. They didn't lecture about healthy eating. They didn't post motivational signs. They simply rearranged. Water at eye level. Soda moved to hard-to-reach spots. Healthy food first in line. Less healthy food at the end. Purchases of healthy items increased by 25%. Staff didn't decide to eat healthier. Their environment decided for them. Your environment shapes your behavior more than your intentions. This is not weakness. This is how all human brains work. The relentlessly consistent understand this. They engineer their cues with precision. They reduce friction for desired behaviors and increase it for undesired ones. They architect immediate rewards their brain can actually process. They protect streaks like sacred objects. They control their environment instead of being controlled by it. And through it all, they never once rely on motivation, because motivation was never the answer. The consistency equation was the answer, and it works whether you're motivated or not. There is a final stage the science points to, a stage where consistency is no longer something you do. It is something you are. The systems have done their job so well that they've changed not just your behavior, but your self-concept. The consistent action is now an expression of identity. You don't ask if you feel like being yourself. You simply are yourself, and your behaviors follow. This is the freedom on the other side of the system-building work. Tomorrow, not next week, not next month, tomorrow. Choose one behavior. Define the minimum viable version. Create a strong cue. Remove friction. Start your streak. You have the science, the consistency equation, the minimum viable action, the streak system, the environmental control. The relentlessly consistent are not a different species. They have simply learned what you now know. Consistency is not achieved through feeling. It is engineered through science. Now go be consistent. No motivation required.